Well, hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Kubeir, and this channel is all about Canadian immigration news, updates, things you should do, things you definitely should not. Well, we will quickly go through few things which I know will be definitely there in the questions. First of all, about the backlogs. Well, we are seeing a lot of passport requests coming in. We are seeing more and more re-medical requests coming in. But what is also now becoming very frequent is that if you are an applicant from 2018, 2019, 2020, these 3 years, the chances that you definitely will get a re-medical because you probably have even expired through your extension of medical. But not only that, you will also get a request to show updated proof of funds. You will get request to show your police clearances, and you may be required to provide IMM 5669 and in some cases IMM 0008. This is becoming really common. So if you are one of those who has been receiving these documents request, please don't freak out. It's quite common. A lot of people are getting it, and one of the reasons they want to see these documents is primarily because they want to make sure that you are still admissible to Canada. Nothing drastic has changed about your background, which could be of a possible concern, if at all. And if you haven't been a naughty boy or a girl, so you have behaved yourself, you do not have any unexpected criminality or security issues. So that's what they're looking for. And obviously, they also want to make sure that within the last 2 years, you haven't spent all that funds that you're supposed to be holding back for your settlement in Canada once you get to the Canada. On the contrary, it's a good thing because this basically means that you're now one step closer to getting your application finalized and approved. So that was one. So yeah, a lot of passport requests coming in. People who are wondering about New Delhi visa office, lot of movement being seen, at least in the last week, from New Delhi visa office as well. Passport requests coming in, document requests coming in, lot of that happening. It's been happening in Paris, been happening from the Singapore visa office, happening from New Delhi visa office, happening from the Sydney, Australia visa office. In my list, these are the ones I have. I haven't heard of any other visa offices, or probably I may have missed them, but it's also happening elsewhere. That's as far as the movement is concerned. The backlog, as far as that is concerned, that continues to be cleared. Probably not as fast as we would like to see, but it continues to be cleared. There has, of course, not been any other express entry draw except for the 2 PNP draws that happened this month. Well, that's what the internal memo also indicated, that they wanted to pause the draws at least until 31st of January. And then the proposal was for the first half of 2022. Now, we know that document was approved and definitely nothing happened until 31st of January, or will not happen until 31st of January. But going forward, what is the situation? We don't really know. What else have I got? Draws as and when they will happen. We will all come to know. Nobody knows better. Absolutely nobody out there can tell you when the draws will happen. Of course, we can all speculate. We can all hope. We can all pray. We can all keep our fingers crossed and toes crossed and whatever else you want to keep them crossed, but draws will happen when they will happen. I personally feel CEC draws may happen faster because obviously that is a concern. Canadian experience class people who are in Canada have been going out of status, are going out of status, will be going out of status. A lot of them are now beginning to leave Canada because they are freaking out because the status is over. So they don't want to be in non-compliance if they haven't already applied for the extension. So a lot of people are leaving Canada in terms of their status expiring. So that is a concern because the job market, or rather the labor shortages, was already peaking. And with this, more people leaving is definitely a concern. There is a lot of political pressure. So I definitely look forward to seeing some changes happening there. One could be that they would issue, or rather come back with a public policy where they extend the work permits for Canadian experience class people who, or postgraduate work permit holders. So they could extend again the work permits, or as I said, there could be a public policy where they would accept the fact that even if you were out of status, you would be given a chance to restore your status. Something again similar to what they did last year and the year before as a public policy for restoration of status. And then finally, as I said, I expect to see a CEC draw happening faster than the federal skilled worker draw for the obvious reasons. And my expectation would be March, April, worst case, if not earlier. Fingers crossed for happening earlier. But once the CEC starts happening, you will see that scores going down. That will lighten up the pool a bit on the top end. And from there on, as and when the federal skilled worker draws start, which, if you are to believe the memorandum and if you are to believe everything else that has been indicated, probably is looking towards the second half of the year. Obviously, the second week of February will give us more information, more indication as to what the immigration targets and the level plans for this year are. And that would also then help us understand if the targets have been reduced, the numbers have been reduced, or if the numbers have remained same, and what can we expect from the express entry draws and the pool. I'm not sure how many of you do follow that there are a couple of lawyers who talk a lot about artificial intelligence and how that has been impacting the processing of visit visas as well as processing of study visas. I know this 7th September, IRCC said that if you have applied for visit visas and you did not hear back on a decision, and if you have a close family member, you want to come to Canada for a compelling reason, then reapply. So we've all started using the new portal, and a lot of people saw decisions coming pretty quick. The fastest decision I have seen that came for a visit visa application was just 48 hours, 2 days flat. Somebody got a decision, which was unbelievable, incredible. Thankfully, it was a positive decision. There have also then been a spate of negative decisions, refusals that have come through, and those have been largely through the new portal. That brings me back to what I was talking about, and that is to do with the artificial intelligence. The new portal is understood to be linked directly to their data feed, which feeds their, so they have this something what we are referring to as Chinook and now Vespa, and it is being used by most visa offices, but largely by New Delhi, in China, in Abu Dhabi, in Accra, in Kenya. Largely most of the visa offices, they have been using this artificial intelligence system, which allows the visa officer to come up to a decision in a much faster manner because they're using a batch processing. So it's an Excel based visual basic tool whereby they can actually see 40 to 50 to 60 applications at the same time in one single line. So if your name is John Smith, so John Smith would be one single line with basic data factors which have been mined from all the information you have provided, and they can see it in one line what the application is all about, and they can then make a decision because the system would flag certain aspects about that application, and if they can make a decision, then they will go on from that. So a lot of information that you may be providing in your application, a visa officer may not even be checking or reading or reviewing that. So that is a big concern because not all applications are straightforward. In some cases, there is a lot more information that goes into an application, especially a visit visa application, and similarly also a study permit application. So if you've been seeing a large number of refusals coming, and I'm sure a lot of you who have been applying for visit visa applications, you have been seeing, this is happening. Sometimes you apply for a visit visa and you get a response in 7 days and it's a refusal, and you're like wondering, and they're saying you did not provide us enough financial documents, or that we do not think you have enough finances, but you did provide financial documents, which only basically means you did not provide it in a manner which could have been scraped by the data mining software or agents that they're using, and that information did not become relevant or was not available in their visual basic tool. Similarly, for study permit applications, I know people write these detailed SOPs or statement of purposes, their study plans, and at times they make it so generic, or obviously they're using these SOP writers who use template based SOPs. So they will be writing the same SOP for 100 people. All they will do is replace the name, replace the college, replace the program, and a bit of few details here and there, and off that goes. And you will see SOPs which says my name is John Smith, my father's name is Will Smith, my mother's name is Diana Smith, and my son's name is Jordan Smith, and this Smith family would like to come to Canada because I would like to study. Are you really writing an SOP, or are you writing some sort of second grade essay? So read those SOPs. It has to make sense, and at the same time, the data that these systems, or rather this artificial intelligence processes would like to pick up, try and summarize this in as bullet points as possible, or probably make a small Excel table or a small table right on the first page where you summarize your application. For example, mention the pull factors, mention the push factors, what are the reasons that are pushing you, will pull you back to your home country. So provide those informations, provide what are your ties on the table itself. If you are able to provide this information, you will see that this information gets picked up easily because it's been collated properly for the data mining tools that they're using, and you probably might get successful with that application. So that's something for you to look at or ponder about if you are preparing an application for a visit visa or for a study permit. Quebec immigration target. So Quebec, as most of you know, as much as it is the largest province in Canada, it has its own immigration program. This own immigration program, they obviously have their own immigration quotas and targets. For this year, 2022, their immigration quota target is 52,500 on the high side. Low side is 49,000. And not only that, see, they are being smart. They are being sensible. They're using this, okay? And they are saying that they have a shortfall of the target that they could not meet in the year 2020 of about 18,000 people. So they will add the 18,000 people quota for this year, making the total quota for this year to approximately 70,000 people, which is good news because that more quota means more options, more opportunities for people who otherwise wouldn't have been able to squeeze in. That's the reason why I was saying that express entry, or rather the non-Quebec or the otherwise the total immigration plans for Canada could make that provision and add that 140,000 people that they were not able to accommodate in 2020 and add it to this year's quota. This year's quota could then become 500 and 50,000, and this would be incredible, right? But we got to wait and watch. 60 to 65% of their quotas is economic, which they basically get through the Quebec Skilled Worker Program or the Quebec Experience Program. And these are the two main programs. So the first draw, as I told you, happened already on 13th of January. But then they also have several other programs ongoing, including the Business Investor Program. Yeah, Quebec is looking good with 70,000 people. I also have another news to share. I'm sure most of you who are keeping their eyes on the immigration news, you would know about this. A family of 4 from Gujarat was found dead at the Canada-US border. Now, it's very, very disturbing to have heard, or rather to have learned about that. And I can't even imagine what that state would be, because this family, which apparently is quite a well-to-do family from Gujarat, spent nearly 100,000 US dollars to get. So they already had a visit visa to Canada. So they came to Canada. They arrived in Canada as tourists on the 12th of January. And then on the 18th of January, they made their way to the US through Manitoba Emerson border. And it's as fate would have it, the patrol on the American side found some 7 people who were wandering around. They caught them. They figured out that there were also 4 other people missing. So then when they went looking for these 4 people, they found these 4 people who had frozen to death, which is, and what is even more horrific is that there was a small child of 3 years as well. So it was a husband, wife, a child of 11 and a child of 3, all of them, because they have been walking in that extreme frigid temperatures of minus 35 to minus 36 degrees. They were exposed for 16 hours in that weather. Mind you, they were all quite well dressed, apparently. So basically this looked like a organized human smuggling racket. So because all of them were wearing same kind of clothes, in the sense they were all wearing very good insulated jackets, they were all wearing good insulated rubber boots, they were all wearing proper gloves, so they had the proper clothing. However, this is how harsh and extreme the weather can be when you leave yourself out in the open. Apparently they got lost, they sort of wandered around, and they basically were out there for 16 hours. And yeah, that's quite sad. That's quite sad. And I cannot even understand and imagine that if you had the visit visa to be in Canada, why would you expose yourself to something like this? So yeah, so this was quite disturbing to have read about. Usually you would hear of people who are coming from US to Canada to claim refugee status. This smuggling racket of people going from Canada into US is something which is not quite often that you hear of, but it happened. So yeah, just wanted to share that with you as well. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, then please do subscribe to the channel. We need to see those numbers going up. Do share the video with your friends if you think it could be of any relevance, any importance to them. If you are not following us on Instagram, then please, that's the link. Come back and follow us on Instagram, and you can see much more updates, information, stories as and how they happen. That's just about all that I have for today. Thank you for joining in. Take care. Stay safe. I'll see you next time.